classify triangles by their sides. Does anybody know the words that we refer to when we classify them by their sides? I just asked you one of them. I just asked you to stand up if you could tell me what isosceles meant. Okay, isosceles means how many sides are the same? Two. Okay. So one word I can classify triangles by when I talk about the sides is isosceles. Okay? What's another word that I could classify it by when I talk about the sides, Lene? Scalene. And what does scalene mean, Chelsea? S-C-A-L-E-N-E. Okay? 2, 0. And how else could I refer to a triangle? It can be isosceles, which I have two sides that are the same. It could be scalene, where no sides are the same. Another one would be what, Caleb? Equilateral. And what does equilateral mean? Three sides are the same. Okay? I will tell you a little secret. If all the sides are the same length, all the angles will have the exact same measurement. And if the brain part there for a second. Okay, if my word for equal sides is equilateral, you can kind of take this first part here and associate that with the word equal, right? Yeah. If lateral means lines, what do you think I would call it if all the angles are equal? What do you think? No? Well, they would all be acute, but when they're all the same, it has a fancy name because we can't just call it acute because that would be too easy. Equilateral means equal lines or equal sides, so angles is a part of it. How do I say that they're all the same? Equal, angular. Okay, so if I have all, okay, so if I could have spelled that wrong too. I'm not real good at spelling that word. Okay, equilateral means all sides are the same. Equal angular means all angles are equal. Okay, if I have an equilateral triangle, I also have an equal angular triangle. Okay, so if all the sides are the same, all the angles are the same. Okay, so I could classify it by sides using isosceles, scalene, or equilateral. I could classify it by angles by using equal angular. What's another way that I could classify by angles? Perfect. I could have a right angle. What else could I have? What's another one? I could have an obtuse triangle. What's another one? Acute. Yeah. It's a cute little thing, right? Okay, so just like whenever I was talking about angles in lesson 2, and we had these 3 fancy words that you've had for, I would say, do they learn those in 2nd, 3rd grade, do you know? Okay, so this is at least your 3rd year having these, if you had it in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right, obtuse, and acute. So not only can we classify angles by that, but obviously a triangle is made up of angles, right? So I can also classify a triangle that way. Okay? So if you look across the top of your page, it does give you the definition for equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, scalene triangle, which is classifying them by sides or angles? Sides. And then I can also classify by angles, which gives me the right angle, the obtuse angle, and the acute angle. And then I threw in an extra one for you, equal angular, which is fancy for they're all going to have the same measurement. If it's equal angular, it is also equilateral. equal angles, I also have equal sides. If I have equal sides, all my angles are the same. Okay? Does anybody know how many degrees is in a triangle? How many degrees is in a triangle? Okay? This is a number you just have to remember. Okay? There's no fancy rhyme or reason. You have to know that a triangle, every triangle, no matter if it's right, obtuse, or acute, the three angles that make up a triangle always add to 180 degrees. Always. That never changes. Anytime you have a triangle, all the angles always measure to what? 180. 180 degrees. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. If I have a triangle, that looks like this, and I tell you that this side is 5 inches, this side is 5 inches, and I tell you this side is 4 inches. Okay, on your whiteboard, I want you to do something for me. I want you to classify this by sides. Classify it by sides. So you're going to tell me, is this an isosceles, a scalene, or an equilateral triangle? Two sides are the same. Okay, so I have two sides of the same. It is an isosceles triangle. Okay, what if it was like this? How would you classify this triangle for me? By sides. You should be following along. You should be doing this with us. By sides, what would I call this? On your board. By sides, since they are all the same, it is equilateral. If it's equilateral, it's also equal angular. Okay, let me give you a brain buster here. I want to see how many of you can do this. I know there are how many degrees in a triangle? 180. So between the three angles in a triangle, there has to be 180 degrees. If they all measure the same, they're all equal, right? How many degrees is each of those angles? Okay. 60 degrees. 60 degrees. How many of you agree with her? Stand up if you agree that each of those angles would be 60 degrees. Okay, defend yourself. Why would you agree with Lene? Why? How do you know? Keely?
Because there are three angles in a triangle, and you just divide 180 divided by 3.
180 divided by 3. If they're all the same, I'm going to take my total amount of degrees that is in a triangle, and I'm going to divide it by 3 angles, right? 3 goes to 18. How many times?
6. Couldn't you just like Miss Wilson must taught this if they were equal sides, maybe Miss Wiseman told her.
Hey, I'm just glad you know it. I don't care who taught you. Okay? I mean, I do. I like to be the one that taught you. But if Miss Sturmer taught you, that's pretty cool too. Okay? So, If it's equiangular, it's also equilateral. If it's equilateral, so listen to what I'm asking you. If it's equilateral, what do all my angles measure? 60 degrees. 60 degrees. Okay? Good job. All right. If I tell you I have a triangle that looks like this, and I tell you that this one is, I don't know, I'm pointing to the angle. I'm going to tell you that angle measures 30 degrees. And I'm going to tell you this angle measures 70 degrees. Actually, I'm going to tell you this angle measures 65 degrees. Let's do the third angle. What is the measurement of this angle right here? How do I figure that out? How do I figure that out? There's 180 degrees total. So between those three angles, if I would add them together, it has to equal 180. I know two of the angles, but not the third. How do I figure out the third angle? Try again. There's going to be two steps. If I know two of the angles, maybe I should add them together. What's 30 plus 65? So these two together total 95 degrees. If there's 180 in every triangle, I can take 180, subtract what I have to get the remaining, right? Last time I checked, I could not have 0 pencils and still give 5 away. So I have to regroup and borrow. 10 minus 5 is 7 minus 9. I can't do that, right? 17 minus 9. So this third angle would have to measure 85. Right? Okay. How did you do it?
I did 70 or 65 plus 30, and then I subtracted that.
That's what we did. Okay. So, what if I tell you that I have a triangle that looks like this? This side is 9.2. This side, they don't look the same, but they are. Just work with me here. Is 9.2. This is 15.1. That angle is 110.